Hi, everyone. I'm Christopher Thornycroft with Redwood Logistics, and welcome to 2025. It is the Redwood Rundown. Good to see you. Good to be back. We are into the year. We have a whole fresh new calendar ahead of us. It feels good. I love the turning of the page. I know that this is symbolic, whatever, but it matters. It feels like a lot of us, especially us in this really challenged industry, needed to flip the page. When we are looking at that calendar, it should be noted, we have a whole new calendar to look at for January that's a little different than what you might see out there. So we had the New Year's holiday, obviously in the middle of the week, just like the Christmas holiday, and we're dealing with the capacity constraints that came before that holiday and have come after that holiday, particularly in reefer. It's been a way more challenging environment. What we have next week, most people would say, okay, so then next week as capacity comes back onto the road, things will normalize, right? Not the case. Next week, we have Orthodox Christmas on the 7th. That is a Tuesday. If you thought that the Wednesday dislocation of capacity was rough, Tuesday is going to be even worse. Why? Because you have all those Chicago-based carriers, a lot of the Eastern European carriers, they follow the Orthodox calendar. They will be celebrating on Tuesday, which means their Christmas Eve is Monday. So those drivers will not be on the road on Monday. They will not be going out on Sunday either. A lot of them won't be going out on Saturday. They're really dug on in once they get back home on Friday, and they're starting to celebrate that Christmas holiday, just like how the people following the non-Orthodox schedule did. So those drivers aren't going to be on the road on Monday, and they're not going to be on the road on Tuesday, and they're not going to be on the road on Wednesday because that's their day after. So you're looking at a large segment of the driver population, particularly that Midwest Chicago-based driver population, that is going to be sitting out the week up until roughly Thursday, and we've even heard from some carriers that a lot of their drivers are just taking that entire week off. So that is next week. The first full week of the month has a major disruption. Again, if you're looking at the calendar, you might not be thinking about Orthodox Christmas, but if you are in the freight business, you are definitely thinking about Orthodox Christmas. Then following that, on the 15th, we have the ILA Strike Date. Now on the 7th, on the Tuesday, the ILA is going to resume their negotiations with the ports. So that is back on. The conversation is back on. They have that strike date for the 15th. If they cannot figure out the automation piece, then there's a chance that they walk off again. On the 20th, we have Inauguration Day. Why is that a big deal? Because when Trump comes on into office, everyone is waiting to see exactly when he is going to levy his tariffs. People are pushing as much freight as they possibly can to come on in before those tariffs can be levied. So you've got a really big marker out there for the 20th. And then finally on the 29th, you have the Lunar New Year. That's also tied to tariffs. There is a large push of imports that is coming to the Gulf and East Coast ports, or scheduled to come to the Gulf and East Coast ports, that is being pushed, that all that freight gets pushed off of the point of origin by the 29th. Then once the 29th happens, then you're looking at a 2-week shutdown of those of the Chinese New Year, in which you have people that do what they call the largest mass migration of people in the world, as you have people traveling across all of Asia, getting back to family, getting back to relatives, and then it takes them a long time to come on back, and then production resumes. So that means that all the freight that has to go gets pushed out by the 29th. That gives us roughly that 15 to 28 day window for that freight to come on in. So that finishes coming in throughout February. And then really you're looking at your February market once you start to lose those imports, where the brakes really get hit out there. So let's review the calendar again, just real quick. On the 7th, Orthodox Easter, Chicago capacity disappears. On the 15th, the potential ILA strike date. We'll know more soon. On the 20th, Inauguration Day, watch for all the imports to be built on up before then. And then finally, Lunar New Year on the 29th. The only other thing that's out there is this polar vortex that is coming to us. According to all reports, there is a polar vortex that is going to be hitting everything that is essentially east of the Mississippi. And it's going to be starting up this week. Watch for how extreme that is, especially watch it though with how that impacts temperatures and weather as you get into the southern states. Up here in Chicago, unfortunately, we know cold weather and misery all too well. But you get down into Texas and there's snow on the ground and they're using sand to be able to salt the streets. So they don't react the same way. It's not built up the same way, and it causes a lot more disruption. Watch for how this cold weather impacts the southern states. We're already seeing cold weather impact the East Coast and the Midwest. Cleveland up through Syracuse area, totally disrupted already today. That's what happens. We all become weather experts as we get into January. That's all we've got for this week. Take care. Happy New Year. Talk to you soon.